Yes, we're back, and yes, there was a big blunder I made in this video, but I still won, so don't worry about that. But the reason I blunder is the reason why I can't get to 900 elo, so I'm gonna try to stop that right now. Sorry for the squeaky chair if you can hear it. I'm gonna try to stop that, but hopefully you guys can enjoy this game right here, because it was alright, it was decent, right? E4, E5, same thing. Knight out. This is C, right? I don't want to get it wrong. Oh, it's F. Okay, so F3. I haven't memorized the chessboard that well yet. F3 I did, and he did D6 pawn, protecting this pawn that was of course hanging. Then I developed my bishop. This is the Philidor defense. I played this loads and loads of times. The reason why I did this, of course, is to develop the bishop, but it's also allowing a castling to occur. He does this, and I think that's a relatively decent move. Because it prevents me from jumping my knight, which I think he thought I was gonna do the fried liver. He could have done knight, but I don't know which one's better. I'll probably say the knight is better because if I did jump my knight here, he could just kick using the H pawn. Or actually no, but then I could still go for the fried liver. But he could have pushed this pawn here, so that could have prevented the fried liver. So yeah, I wasn't gonna do the fried liver though. I castled. He got his knight out, developing it on e7. Decent, yeah. He's got like some good squares right here. He can't go here because then takes obviously. He could develop it here, but it's not the best way to develop it. I push my pawn because I gotta attack this little like trinity he has here of pawns, and I take, and then I take with queen. I could have taken with knight, but I just wanted to get my queen developed. I don't know if that was smart because I've heard that developing your queen it should be the last thing you do, in your opening. But I decided to do that anyways. This pawn's hanging. I don't. Did I realize that? Let me see. Oh, okay. This pawn is hanging in it, but I thought a bit longer, right? I realized that. But what I thought is if I take this pawn and sacrifice the knight, he takes back with this pawn, and then Oh, all right. What was I saying? Okay. If I sacked my knight, of course I did that. If he takes back, that opens up this file, and I can take the rook. And he actually doesn't see that. And yeah, he hung his rook. I take that, and hey, it didn't count as a brilliant move on chess, but it's fine. It was just a knight sack. It wasn't that big. Then he just decides to develop his knight. This pawn is hanging. He could have done this probably, this to the pawn. But he just decides to develop his knight, and then I take the hanging pawn, right? Um, he develops his light squared bishop. Now, in this scenario, if I take this pawn here, I could, well, checkmate here on f7, right? But I think that's what I do. I plan to do that, but he actually counters by doing this, which I think might have been the best move here because it defends this square and it attacks the light square bishop at the same time, right? So I think that's the best move in my personal opinion. I could be wrong though, so yeah. So then I move my bishop here. He could just trade it away, then I take back, which is fine. Um, but the problem with that is that if he takes this bishop with that knight, that does another discovered attack on the queen. So I don't think he does do that. Yeah, he kicks it with a pawn, which is a hey, like that's a valid move. Um, he still hasn't moved his queen away from the pin, but I don't think he ever does. But we'll see, anyways. Then I do this move. The idea with this is that if he takes here, I would probably take one of the knights, right? Um, then oh, there we go. He moved his queen away, right? This queen is no longer getting pinned with the knight with my bishop. And then I decide to take the bottom one, right? I take the bottom knight. It has more control over like more squares, so I just take it. He takes back, and then I move my bishop here. I don't actually take back here. The reason why is because he can take this hanging pawn. Then he could, and then it just gets really messy here. He could go for here, attacking the rook, or he could just move back up, right? So this was a very weak pawn on c2. So if I developed my knight here, that could have been a move I could have done. I don't know why I didn't do that now I think about it. Oh, but if I did this, he could have done this. But that's fine because then I could have just taken the pawn. yeah, I don't know why I don't develop the knight. I decide to use my bishop instead, which is fine, I guess. It still does the same thing. He castles, then I take the hanging pawn that he just left, right? He takes back with his knight. Now it actually gets a bit dangerous because now he has two attackers on my bishop, but I have two defenders on it. So let's say he takes, I take back, queen takes, and then I take back. So he can't take that bishop. But because I'm an idiot, I decide to blunder. And well, this wasn't a blunder because chess didn't say it was. I think it was a mistake on chess. That's what they said this was, because now he can take the bishop, and then I take back, and then his queen takes back, and now he's forking for the rook and the knight. I made a big mistake. I think this was a blunder. I think it's valid to say that this is a blunder. It was very bad of me to do. And then then guess what? Oh, lo and behold, the guy does it. Like, bro, like I'm actually gonna crash out. But yeah, I can just move my rook here and develop this, but then he can take the pawn, forking for the rook, and the knight, right? Which is what happens. This was the smart idea, him moving his king back, because let's say he took this, right? I could have just pinned. If I move my rook to c1, I could have pinned the queen to the king, and I won the queen, right? So that was good by him. But what? But yeah, okay. So I decided to do this, right? This was kind of another mistake as well at the same time, because this pawn is actually getting protected by a queen. So he can't take that. He can probably move here and take this pawn if he's really willing to do that. But this queen is literally on the pawn defending it, so I'm fine. But I don't realize this because I'm an idiot and I do this. Yes, it attacks the queen, but then it blocks I block my own queen. Now this pawn is undefended and he takes it. And this is where it gets very bad. This is the reason why I'm not even 900 elo, even 1000 elo. God forbid I'd be 1000 elo making these type of moves. Okay, the blunder is this, right? I take it. I take this hanging pawn on d6, right? Okay, fine. Right? Hanging pawn, d6. I'm looking to take this bishop right now, right? But I hung the rook. So then I take back, and then I hung the queen. Bro, like, bro, I'm gonna crash out, bro. I hung my rook, and then I hung my queen in 2 consecutive moves for me and white. 2 moves in a row. I hung 2 pieces. But my opponent, not trying to shame this guy, right? I don't want to be rude and shame the guy, right? Or woman, I don't know. Is that a guy? Yes, that is definitely a guy. Okay. He misses it. He doesn't see that I hung my queen. He hung his queen now. And then I take it. And then he resigns. Yo, bro, my game rating that chess gave me was 200 elo for this game, and rightly so. My opponent got 150, and my god, I don't know how the hell I'm not 300 elo if I'm making these horrendous moves. I have an excuse. I had a headache yesterday and I decided to play chess. I don't know why I thought that was a good idea, but that's my only excuse I had. This was on stream as well, but yeah. Next game, hopefully it's a game where I actually do good and I don't make very idiotic moves like this. And yeah, he resigns here. Hey, people who want to criticize my game, go ahead and go in the comments and just violate me, because bro, I honestly deserve it. And yeah, until the next video, hopefully it's a lot better than this, man. Peace.